Asmongold's opinion on Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's go.
Yeah, I played Dragon's Dogma a bit. Played it last night. Yeah, I guess I put like maybe four or 5 hours back into
7, pretty good, honestly.
it, and I played it a bit more, which was good. Like I was glad to play it some more and get into it. I guess I could talk about this. I saw, like, I just briefly like scrolled down. There's a lot of comments about this, right? People are talking about this. I give me a second. I'll like just address everything real quick. You got roasted YouTube comments too? Yeah. Yeah, people.
There's too much complexity, there's too much backseating. I'm bad at learning new information in games. Ignores mechanics and doesn't read tutorials. Dude, I think this is perfectly Asmongold. I think over the years I have watched Asmongold, I have seen this so many times. He goes to a boss, ignores the tutorial that explains what the boss does and what he should do, and you know, that's the premises of a lot of things in the game, fails, calls the mechanics shit, complains about them being too hard and they need to be easier, and leaves the game. Oh my lord, this is just amazing. Okay, let's see what he says.
Weren't happy. I wanna promise you guys something, okay?
Okay.
I will promise you that every new game I play will be exactly like this. That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. No, but seriously, I think this has been a thing that I have noticed for, I don't know, for the last 5 years-ish. I don't watch him play games too much, but you know, sometimes YouTube just auto plays the next video, and maybe it's an Asmongold play video. And man, the last time it happened, it was Monster Hunter. And he was fighting a boss. And he was not doing the mechanic. Everyone was telling him, hey, you know there's a mechanic, right? And his response was, the mechanic's stupid. I don't like it, so I'm not gonna do it. And then he loses because of the mechanic. It is so actually frustrating to watch this guy play a game. It's insane. Is he a gamer even at this point? Literal mechanic. Needs to do it. Doesn't do it. Blames the game for being too hard or stupid or calls the mechanic bad. Now, admittedly, if a game has a mechanic where, you know, you need to do 20 backflips, sing a Taylor Swift song, and then create a rocket engine, yeah, that's probably a bad mechanic. But almost nothing I have ever seen him play has even remotely close to a bad mechanic. It's just he's bad at a mechanic, he fails a lot, and then he says it's shit because he can't learn it because he's too old for it. Man, this is sad.
It will be exactly like this. I have a really hard time picking up new concepts, new ideas on stream.
On stream only. Yeah. Only on stream.
Especially. Like, streaming is like, I get how... So people get mad, right? And they're like, oh, well, why didn't he see this? Why didn't he do this? Because I'm distracted by streaming. It's really distracting. Talking all the time, being on camera, reading chat constantly.
Pretty sure he doesn't read the chat. I'm pretty sure he never reads the chat while actually doing bosses or whatever, unless it's over or something like that. And second of all, he's used to actually playing and talking at the same time. And by the way, that's not mutually exclusive for streaming. Everyone does this. This is not a special skill. This is not some kind of unique talent that Asmongold has acquired. A lot of people have the ability to do something and talk at the same time. And by the way, here's the trick that no one in the world knows about. If you're doing something and you're talking about doing it, it gets substantially easier.
Playing the video game, thinking about the game, thinking about what I'm saying, it's hard to do this.
No, it's not.
And if you think it's easy to do this, start streaming, be successful at it.
Damn, streaming is hard job yet again. We're gonna go there. Streaming is the hardest job ever. And also, by the way, what does being successful has to do with talking and doing something and talking about it at the same time?
Okay, this is very important because I could very easily sit there and not interact with chat at all. But if you want to interact with chat and you want to talk to people, it's going to be really hard to do both things. And if you think it's not, then you should start streaming and see if you can do it better than me, because I can't do it. Like, for me, it's so...
Boys, I can't do something, which means it is the hardest thing in the universe. I can't do it, so no one can do it. Oh boy, this guy is really self-centered and egotistic, huh?
So distracting. Like, it's like basically dividing my brain into, like, you know, a fucking pizza, and I only have like 1 or 2 slices to give the game, right? And so whenever...
That sounds like a you problem, to be honest.
Whenever I'm playing a new game on stream, like, I'm already like really slow on uptaking new information because I get overwhelmed really, really fast, right? Like, I'll get, like, as soon as I see too many things, I'm just like, okay, I'll mentally, like...
Also, I've seen Asmongold do this, also. He's gonna take completely normal things that every human experiences, like, you know, getting overwhelmed with new information, which is completely common and normal. It happens to me, it happens to you, it happens to everyone. And then he's gonna describe this thing that happens to literally everyone in the universe like it's some kind of secret thing that only happens to him and affects him in a much more dramatic way than anything else in the universe. That's crazy. That's crazy. Next thing you know, he's gonna say, when I fight a new boss in Dark Souls, I don't know his moveset, so it's harder for me to win against the boss the first time if I don't know what he does. It's literally that level of take.
It kind of shut down. And I actually, like, really, like, I genuinely don't like playing new games on stream, especially ones that are complex RPGs. That's why, like, for example, I quit playing Grand Blue Fantasy on stream. I totally quit playing that game on stream because I don't like learning things on stream. It's very, very simple. And the reason why is that... So, I know this is like a... I'm
pretty sure he just watches tutorials, by the way. Everything I have seen about him, and I could be wrong, but everything I see about him points to me that he's not really good at figuring shit out himself. Like, at all. Every time I'm pretty sure it's chat telling him the secret to how something is done or him looking up things.
Like it's a, like, not hoax, but it's like pseudoscience, right? Is like the left and right hemispheres of your brain. But like, just look at that as like a metaphor, right? And so like one hemisphere of my brain is like my logical, like calculated mind. And
wait, did he call that pseudoscience?
The other hemisphere is my streaming brain. And these are complete opposites. And so whenever I'm using my streamer brain to do things, this is like mentally the exact opposite of me using like my analytical, like, thinking brain. Like, this is the...
If any one of you even remotely buys this garbage that he is saying, congratulations, you're a literal Asmongold viewer. Hey, most humans have the problem that we don't know when we peaked. We don't know if our peak is coming. Maybe we're gonna become millionaires, billionaires, maybe we're gonna have a small business, maybe we're gonna be a boss somewhere. But you, Asmongold viewer, you know that you peaked at McDonald's. It is crazy, actually, that you got this lucky, that you know that your life will never get better than that, or being jobless.
I cannot think of anything that is more the opposite of that than streaming. Because it's so, like, you're reading, like, 50 messages.
Also, by the way, he's doing, this is something that egotists do constantly. He's creating unique problems for himself because he is so unique and special. This is what it is. He's explaining his world as unique problems to him, even though he doesn't understand it. Other people have this. It's not actually that difficult. It's not that. But since he is special, his problems obviously are special, and at least a couple of steps above everyone else's problems. This is why he's talking about these things in such a way. Because if he, the special person, cannot manage this, this must be an extremely special thing. And because he's so delusional in thinking that he is special, he doesn't understand that he's talking about a thing that a lot of people have experienced or done, or have definitely done in a different context.
Just out of chat, you're reading everything else. That's not pseudoscience. Yeah, I think that like some people think like one hemisphere of your brain is like you know, logical, the other one is emotional. I heard that was pseudoscience. I don't know the details, right? I'm not a fucking
Yeah, he's just making shit up. What a video!
brain scientist. So
I thought we were gonna talk about Dragon's Dogma.
like, I'm just using this as a metaphor, right? What are we doing talking about?
Nice.
Like whether the metaphor is accurate. Like you guys can see clearly what the metaphor is. And so anyway, whenever I play a new game,
No, calling something pseudoscience without not being sure if it's pseudoscience is not the part of the metaphor. The metaphor part was you talking about one part of your brain being streaming and the other one being not streaming, which is retarded.
I struggle like trying to figure out like kind of how to balance that out. And
What a
things to
unique
handle.
problem.
Yes, exactly. It's too much things for me to handle. So I want to promise you guys that every single time that I play a new game, I will have a mental shutdown like this. It actually makes me dread and not like playing new games on stream. That doesn't mean I won't do it at all, but I just want you guys to understand that on
Doesn't he do it pretty much constantly, by the way?
the first day of a new game, I'm probably not enjoying myself. I don't enjoy it. And so that's literally all there is to it. You explain it each time, but people never seem to understand. We don't mind watching.
Well, I think people don't understand how stupid this is because no one's actually thinking about what he's saying and why it's stupid. Again, he's not describing a unique problem. He's just making it unique because he thinks it's unique because he himself is a unique snowflake.
You take your time learning as part of the game. No, again, like there are a lot of people that, and if you think that like whenever I play a game like this, you think that I'm like stupid, okay, fine, right? I guess I'm stupid.
Okay.
But I can't fix this problem. I've tried for 5 years. For 5
I really doubt that.
years, I've streamed these other games. I've tried to do it. And I have failed every single time. It has been a disaster every single time.
Choosing willingly to ignore game mechanics and not reading tutorials and then calling said game mechanics or whatever bad because you chose to not do it, read it, and ignore it is you not trying. You just need to start doing it. So he hasn't actually tried and done anything. That's what I'm getting here. He hasn't even tried, he's just gonna pretend he did because reasons.
For 5 years.
Whew.
So at this point, I do my best, but you should expect that it will be the worst. Because this is just not what my brain is programmed to do. I can't.
Then what is your brain programmed to do? Because that's pretty much all you do with your life, it looks like. We know you don't have any responsibilities in real life, and someone's gonna say, oh, he always blah 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 businesses. He got approached by people that he needed to put his name on, and he's getting a pretty big percent of it. He actually doesn't need to do anything. Okay, trust me, when he enters Starforge PCs or whatever that place is called, he goes in, he probably shakes his hand with some people like a complete woman, and then he says something stupid and everyone just says, yes, Asmongold, and they try to get him out of there as soon as possible because he's just ruining their day. Okay? He doesn't actually have any responsibilities. He can just sit there and game non-stop. It is what it is.
Think like this.
Oh, and he doesn't have friends or, family that cares about him, so, we're kind of stacked on that part.
I can't process information like this. It doesn't happen. So if people expect me to go in and play one of these games and understand it and be able to pick up and see things on screen, you will be disappointed every single time. I'm sorry to say, chat will never understand. Right. And this is one point that I'll make.
They won't understand what? That you literally don't do anything and expect the best and then complain about things? Jeez.
He says that it's very easy to understand.
Yeah, it is.
I don't believe them whenever they say that.
Why?
Because
I mean, everyone else but you can read two sentences on the screen for a tutorial.
I've played World of Warcraft for many years.
Okay.
And every single MMO that I've played,
Okay.
every single co-op game that I've played,
Okay.
I have had to interact with other random players.
Okay.
And one thing that I've learned from interacting with other random players is that most people are really, really stupid.
Okay,
And
yeah.
everybody always likes to talk about how, oh, well, I figured this out really easily. And I think that in a lot of cases, they probably didn't. Or maybe they figured that one out, but then they got stuck on something else that was stupid for 30 minutes. Like, I actually don't, like, there are people that...
This is pushing the goalpost. We're not actually talking about playing a game like this and succeeding. We're talking about... That's pushing the goalpost. We initially were talking about him just completely ignoring mechanics, tutorials, and then complaining about it. Now it's about succeeding, which is not the original point. He's just pushing the goalpost here.
that love to talk about, oh yeah, he's so dumb. Well, I want to see you play the game. I want to see how they're going to do it. Because the odds are...
well, yeah, they're not going to be super successful at it, chances are. Chances are they're going to, not... Well, the average person is probably not that good at games. But again, we're talking about reading a tutorial, not ignoring a mechanic. Most people are capable of that.
I bet it's even worse than me. I don't know if you got anxiety, but whenever I do, when I'm in public, even the simplest thing can be an issue. Yeah, I have anxiety, sure. But, I mean, does that really play into this? It's hard really to say. But, yeah.
If you would have anxiety, yeah, this would play into it.
All I'm really trying to get at here is that I don't really do well processing and playing new games on stream. And I haven't really for 5 years. And I don't really see this changing at all. So if you're watching a playthrough of me playing a game that's new, you're probably going to be having a bad time. And I will be too, because I'm not, like, my brain just doesn't work that way. That's all there is to it. And I understand that, like, for some people, you might not understand.
Creating I'm a unique snowflake scenario for a problem that everyone faces. AKA, I'm not good at most new games that I play instantaneously, and throwing that under the bus of, oh, I'm special. This is not how my brain works. Nice.
You might not get that, right? But how do people, like, in the same way, like, why do I remember, like, everything about, like, a game that I played? Like, I have very good memory. I just have very bad...
Very good memory doesn't mean that you're gonna be good at games for whatever reason. Also, I'm not sure if he has a very good memory for... it kind of depends. I have a very good memory, for example, for remembering details about people. Because I'm all into that manipulation shit. And I like it and I enjoy it. So remembering where someone went to school or whatever... pretty useful, because that's the easy way to get them to like them. Remembering small details about a person's life is really effective. So I remember stuff like that pretty well. I don't remember a lot of other stuff well, because I see it pointless. He remembers a lot of things about World of Warcraft, and my guess would be because he thinks that's important. He did World of Warcraft for how long and whatnot, and all of his life was literally revolving around World of Warcraft. So... one, he spent an extraordinary amount of time there. He literally went around farming things for forever. So that already gives him a lot more experience with those things, and he's concentrating on that. So the fact that he remembers things about World of Warcraft doesn't necessarily mean that his memory is perfect or really good in some cases, well, most cases. It just means it's good for that because he specifically has essentially trained himself to have a memory good at that.
Skills at, like, trying to, like, pick up new information, because it takes me longer to do it. And I guess the reason why, if I wanted to, like, explain it a little bit, it's because, like, I don't really process information until I find out where it goes. So, like, if somebody just tells me something and there's no context to it, I just immediately forget it and I don't care. But like I usually have like 3 or 4 other bits of information that like comes together
That sounds vaguely autistic, but okay.
will like make me remember something. And like it's kind of like a web, right? And so if I'm
Okay, so literally as everyone else in the world, you get told something, it doesn't mean anything. Suddenly you come along something that actually requires this information, and suddenly it's useful and it has he's literally describing every person in the world right now.
playing a new game, I don't have that. And so that's why I have a lot of these really like kind of like retard moments, right? Where I just can't figure anything out. It's because of that. Because I'm just completely a fish out of water. So yeah. And you refuse to read? No, I will read something. See, this is what you don't understand.
Didn't we already establish previously that, yeah, he's not gonna read it?
I will read something, and then I will immediately forget it the second after I read it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can read something, and then I could be like, oh, okay. And
okay, so again, none of this makes sense. Okay. Not even a minute ago, he explained that he will absorb information and he's gonna forget about it because it has no use for him. Right? Until the point that there is a use for that information and then it all slams in and comes together, right? Yeah, he said that. So how does this part make sense now? How... If the previous part that he said was true, then this part right here would not exist. It would not be a problem. He would read it, forget about it, but the moment it's useful, he would instantaneously just jam it in, and it would work. So you can tell that he's completely talking bullshit here because because in this span of a minute that he was talking, he already contradicted himself because both of these situations can't be true at the same time. Nice.
and then I do it again, and I just don't read it, because that's not the way that my brain works. Read it twice. I try to do that, and then I forget. Isn't that just being retarded? Oh, I guess I'm retarded. Like, all I'm saying is, like, I'm not going to try to, like, I'm not going to apologize.
By the way, he's not retarded. He's not retarded.
For this. This is just how I am. So if you're unhappy
A spoiled brat.
about that, that's all there is to it. But I will absolutely say that streaming is a huge distraction. It's a massive distraction.
Uh-huh.
And I understand that a lot of people might not get that because you've never been a streamer.
I have been a streamer. Not a massive distraction at all. In fact, most people will say not actually a massive distraction. But Asmongold would say, well, have you streamed for 20k plus people? No. But XCD has been a competitive League of Legends. No, not League of Legends. Overwatch. XCD was a competitive Overwatch player while streamer. I think he would say that it's pretty easy to actually, just do that. I don't even need to use myself as an example. Look at all these really good players like Shroud, the top Warzone streamers, the top COD streamers. Look at all of them. They're performing at the highest levels while streaming, and somehow fucking magically, it's not a problem for them. Asmongold is actually the ultra minority if we think about this honestly. Kind of crazy when you think about it, huh?
But it is a huge distraction. Like, imagine, so I guess, like, if I had to explain like what streaming is like, it's like basically playing a video game in a room where there's a party in the room and there's also multiple crying babies in the room at the same time.
Yeah, I would not explain that at all. It's more like you're doing things and someone's trying to bug you and get your attention. That's how that's more I would describe a situation like this. Someone's trying to bug you, ask you questions about what you're doing, and demanding explanations for what you're doing. That is what I would say streaming is more like.
That's what streaming is like in terms of like the way that your attention is divided. it's like super, super, super distracting. We all process things differently. Yes, exactly. This has been a huge overreaction. Yes, exactly. Do you believe that you can train your brain? Why or why not? I think that there's like a, so yes.
He needs to answer no here, by the way. Otherwise, everything he said previously is just he doesn't want to do it anyway. Which, by the way, makes this post completely on point.
You can train your brain, but there is also a limit to that. Like, for example,
okay,
like there are
the
people
limit?
that are just like going to be generally better at some things than others. So there's like kind of a, it's like as a mage you can level strength, and as a warrior you can level intelligence, right? But you're never going to be as good as a mage if you're a warrior at casting spells or vice versa. So I think that's kind of like, yeah, you can level it up a bit, but that's it.
This is not a problem unless you're retarded or doing something like I don't know, fucking quantum physics. Okay, these things only apply at the absolute peaks of the spectrums. Okay, either you're so stupid that you can't lift your arms properly and you're flailing around, or you're literally trying to solve humanity's problem and going and living in outer space. These are the peaks where these things would apply. Everywhere else, no, it doesn't apply. You can, and everywhere else, people can just Google a tutorial on YouTube and reenact the tutorial, and they're gonna be as good. And maybe they learn why and whatnot. And anyway, I'm done. This was Quizzer Said Sim. Thanks for watching, and this had absolutely nothing to do with Dragon's Dogma, which is hilarious. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.